Good morning. Alan Nuckman from Option Shop with your morning market stir for Friday, February 22nd. Well, after that key reversal on Wednesday, markets had a bit more selling on Thursday. The emini S&P was down 6 at 1501. 1495 was the low, so it came off of the lows at the end of the day. The Dow futures were down 12 at 13,877. The low on the day was 13,811, so it did bounce 60 points off the session lows. The Nasdaq was hit the hardest, down 0.75%, 2716, down 21. The dollar index continued to rally, up another 30 points at 81.38 as it closed above 81 pretty solidly yesterday. Looking at the euro currency was steady around the 188 level after this continued sell-off over the last couple of sessions. It did steady on the day. The bond futures were up. They were up 0.75 of a point on the day at 143 3/4. The 144.5 is the point when we ought to keep an eye on. That was the breakdown point from January 25th. Has been a resistance top. We've been trading between 144.5 and 142, so we'll look to see if that forms a bottom. Looking at crude oil. Crude oil was down pretty heavy yesterday, 92.93. Continued slide in crude oil after it's broken out to the downside of that $95 to $98 trading channel. It was down $2.30 on the day. Gold was finally steady. That's the good news, I guess. 1575 is where it's at. It sold off a little bit, but came back as we had a bit of volatility in the markets yesterday. So on today's action, where do things stand on this Friday morning with this active week as we get started on the day? Right now, we're in the emini S&P up 7 points at 1508. We'll want to check to see where we can get to, if we can get to that 1517 level where we closed last Friday, or we're gonna have a negative week, obviously. Dow futures are up 45 at 13,917, reclaiming some ground there, and the Nasdaq's up 10 at 2724. The currencies are unchanged right now with the dollar index and the euro. It'll be important to see if we can come to that 81 breakout point in the dollar index and give the euro currency a little bit of support. The bond market's drifting lower again as some of these concerns are easing. We're down 9 at 143.19. The yield on the 30-year treasuries at 318. It had been as high as above 325 in the last couple of weeks when bonds were lower. Looking at crude oil's up 20 cents at 93. It'll be interesting to see here. Crude oil had traded between $98 and $87 over the last couple of months. So 92 is a halfway support point that we'll want to keep an eye on a closing weekly basis. And the gold market, finally, it's unchanged once again, which is good news. It's no longer continuing to drift lower. So to wrap up the action on this Friday morning to end the week, right now the S&P is up 7 at 1508. Dow futures are up 45 at 13,917. I will see you early Monday morning for the stir in the markets to set up your trading day. And from Option Shop here at the CME Group, it all comes back to commodities.